Good morning, everyone. What an amazing crowd we have this morning. My name is Cindy Lanasar, and I am the president of the Salem Police Foundation. Please make your way to the seats and to your tables and pull out your raffle tickets if you have purchased them this morning. And while you're making your way to your seats, please silence your cell phones, and we are going to get started. To those of you that have purchased raffle tickets this morning, I want to thank you for doing that. That helps the foundation with all that we're going to do this year for Salem Police Department. We've got some amazing prizes this year. And when I announce the winner, if you could please wave your hand or jump up and down or scream and yell so we know who you are, we will bring you a certificate, and you can redeem that at the registration counter at the end of the program to claim your winnings. Mary Louise, are you bringing me the tickets? One of the things that we are purchasing for the department this year is the simulator. You will learn more about that later in the show, but we do have it set up today in a small version. The full version that will be assembled within the police department will have 5 interactive screens. We have 1 screen today, and I encourage you at the end of the program, if you'd like to give it a try, it is a very unique tool that will enhance the training for our officers. So just to highlight that that's up here at the front. All right, here comes Mary Louise. Our first raffle item this morning is courtesy of Home Depot. It's a KitchenAid 3-burner stainless steel grill. You will be ready for the summer with this one. And the winner is do I read all the numbers? All right. All the numbers 180087. Woohoo! Here's a winner over here. Very nice. I like that enthusiasm, especially at 7:30 in the morning. Next, courtesy of the gorgeous Bjornson Vineyards, a wine tour and tasting for 6, and the winner is 179925. Woo! Some waving in the back. Next, courtesy of Illahee Hills Country Club, our next raffle package is a round of golf for 4 and 2 carts. The winner is 179798. Woo! Right there. And our final raffle this morning, courtesy of Greystone Tactical, is a $500 gift certificate to be redeemed in their store. And the winner is, drum roll please, 179875. Woo! Thank you to Mr. Jerry Frank. He has provided us 2 gift certificates to Macy's. First winner, 179688. You got to jump up and down. All right, very good. Our next Macy's gift certificate, 179687. All right, thank you so much. Congratulations to our winners. Now I would kindly ask you all to please rise for the presentation of our colors by the Salem Police Honor Guard. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order.
Matthew 5:9 says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God." Let's pray. Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for the sunshine and for the food, more importantly for the coffee. Thank you, Lord, for the breath in our lungs and the blood in our veins. And Lord, we are thankful for and are mindful of each man and woman here in Salem and across this nation that wear the badge. Would you continue to protect and guide each of them today and every other day? Would you grant them courage and strength and encouragement as they stand in the gap for each of us? Thank you, Lord, for Chief Moore. Thank you for his leadership and his commitment to values, Lord, that are also yours. And would you give each of us here this morning ears to hear and eyes to see how we may be able to partner with and support Salem Police as they continue their great and lasting work in our city. In your strong name we pray. Amen.
You may be seated. Thank you, Kenny, AKA Chaplain Engelking. Again, my name is Cindy Lanasar, and I'm the Community Relations Liaison at Salem Health, and I am very proud to be the 2020 president of the Salem Police Foundation. Along with my fellow board members, we would like to welcome you to our signature event, Breakfast with the Chief. 2020 marks our 10-year anniversary of the foundation, and we are dedicated to our mission and vision to promote community support for the Salem Police Department and to enhance public safety support for its members and our community. I'd like to take just a brief moment and thank our major sponsors. Please hold your applause until the end. A big thank you to our title sponsor, Salem Health. Thank you to our SWAT team sponsors, David and Laura Withnell and Withnell Motors, Andy Medcalf Construction Company, the DLR Group, Pay It Forward Fund, and Grove Mueller Swank PCs. And thank you to our mobile command sponsors, CB2 Architects, the Wellert family, McKinney, Belcher, Hamilton Attorneys, PC, and to thank you to all the other sponsors that are listed in our program. We could not do this amazing event with all of you amazing donors without your support. Now I would like to recognize our dedicated volunteer board of directors. Board, would you please stand? Thank you very much for your tireless support and service to the department. Their names are listed within our program today. Now it is my honor to introduce our mayor, Chuck Bennett. Chuck has been Salem's mayor since 2017 and has spent 9 years on our city council. He has been an Oregon State representative and has served as a governmental affairs representative, also a newspaper reporter, an editor, and is a fellow Rotarian. He has always been a great advocate for the safety of our citizens and is a steadfast supporter of the officers that serve our great city of Salem. Please help me welcome Salem's Mayor, Chuck Bennett.
thank you, Cindy, for the introduction. Wow, this is just really fantastic. Each year this grows. It's just a fantastic event, and I really want to welcome all of you supporters of the Salem Police and Salem Police Foundation. The Salem Police Foundation is an incredibly active group. It works alongside our police department to help fund projects that make the most sense for the department. The city of Salem, while wishing we could, and we're going to ask you to vote and join us in this effort in May, we simply cannot find everything that the department needs and desires for training, technology, and the safety of our officers. This is where the Salem Police Foundation steps in and helps to provide those things. As an essential partner with the city, the foundation has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars on behalf of the Salem Police Department. The purchase of a TIE training simulator will help prepare officers for literally life and death situations. In fact, projects funded this year total almost $250,000 for endeavors both large and small. Examples of projects funded include the recent acquisition of the Mobile Command Vehicle, 3 new canines complete with training and gear, and fresh quick-clot trauma kits for each officer to carry on their person, and the new officer wellness focus to help our first responders that are all crucial to our safety and community. As you all know, construction of the new police station is well underway, with doors expected to open this September. This new facility will allow for enhanced efficiency and safety for not only the department's 190 officers, but for the public. This is very exciting to watch grow out of the ground. And I'll tell you, the most exciting thing to do is join Deputy Chief Belshaw and Chief of Police Jerry Moore and walk through the building. I mean, it is a real joy to see how important this building has become for them as well as for this community. Today you're going to hear more about the foundation's goal of purchasing a training simulator for the new police station to enhance officer training. This simulator helps to prepare officers so they're ready to face situations where lives are on the line. I encourage you to join me in supporting this valuable training tool that the police department would not otherwise be able to afford. Now I'd like to call up Chief Moore and Dan Wellert for a presentation of certificates, personally acknowledging their tireless work on behalf of the foundation. Chief, Dan, come on up. Because I've grown blind in the service to my city, I'm going to have to read this without my glasses. This is for Dan. In acknowledging your tremendous achievements as past president of the Salem Police Foundation, for your 3 years as president has resulted in record-setting fundraising in behalf of the Salem Police Department. Unwavering dedication to the importance of public safety and canine enforcement highlights your long-standing commitment to volunteerism in the community. The city of Salem congratulates you on your successes and is profoundly grateful for your efforts in behalf of the Salem Police Department, dated this 19th day of February. Signed, Mayor Chuck Bennett. Another award.
Thank you very much, man.
Okay, I'm going to read this one. I promise you I won't weep. This is for an acknowledgement of Chief Jerry Moore. In acknowledgement of unprecedented service over the past 5 decades to the city of Salem, Oregon, and the Salem Police Foundation, your active participation in the annual Salem Police Foundation breakfast has helped raise hundreds of thousands of dollars dedicated to the betterment of the Salem Police Department and in turn the safety of our residents. The City of Salem congratulates you on your many years of remarkable leadership and proudly recognizes the efforts you've made over the years on behalf of the Salem Police Department and the Salem Police Foundation, again dated this 19th day of February, signed Chuck Bennett, Mayor. And I was told I'm not to go into the long discussion of Jerry and his service to this community. We'll talk about that at another event. Jerry, thank you so much. We are so lucky in this community. I watch the news like I'm sure the rest of you do about the various reactions to police and these first responders around the country, and I think about how totally supportive this community is, that when we ask the community what do they like best here, it's the police department, it's the fire department, it are these first responders, and particularly our police. And to be mayor of a community where police is a positive statement. Police chief is a person you'll see more than 2 years before they move on to the next posting, is really a genuine pleasure. And I thank you again, Jerry, for 5 decades of service to this community. And finally, I want to thank the dedicated members of the Salem Police Foundation for their ongoing support for Salem's police to enhance safety in our community. And now Deputy Chief Belshaw is going to share with you some highlights from last year's Breakfast with the Chief. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Bennett. Most of you don't realize, but in my off time, I make a little extra money being the mayor's stunt double. I can pass for him sometimes, but. So this is that part of the program where some of you are going, really, the chief's going to let him get up here and talk again? And yes, he is. So 9 years ago, we did our first breakfast with the chief. It was on February 29th. We woke up early that morning. It was the first time we had done this, and I got up and looked out the window, and it was snowing. 2 thoughts went through my head. Oh no, it's snowing. And oh no, the chief is going to fire me because this is going to be a failure. Well, we pulled it off, and we've continued to do this. Now, those 2 thoughts continue to go through my head on occasion. Oh no, it's snowing, and oh no, the chief's going to fire me. One of them goes through my head more often than the other. But if you haven't had a chance to, for 2 years we talked about raising money and raising funds for the mobile command vehicle. If you haven't had a chance to see it, it is parked downstairs right outside. Please take the opportunity to go and see it. That has been instrumental in our ability to do business out in the community. Things that we were not able to do, we now can do. When we had that missing persons case this last year, officers were able to work out of that mobile command vehicle and do everything in there that they could instead of running back and forth to the police station. And so that made a big difference of them not having to come back to the police station. Speaking of the police station, I've been working on my segues. The new police station is looking really good. The mayor mentioned that. We are set to open in October. So if you are not already following our Facebook page or following us and watching the Building Buzz, and I always give you the warning, if you're sick of me already, don't go watch the Building Buzz because it's more of me, and so you'll just see me all over again. But it gives you a monthly update about the progress of the building so you know where we're going. And so Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, start looking there in September when the building should be done. So in October, we'll be opening it to the public for tours, and so stay tuned for that. It is, I just went through the building again yesterday, and it's amazing. You will be proud of this building. So last year's breakfast, we asked you for a number of things, and so we were able to purchase a number of things thanks to your support. So we were able to purchase for our SWAT team the Bat Shield. Sounds cool, isn't it? It really is cool. It is mobile armor for our SWAT team. So most of the shields that you see are big and heavy and cumbersome. This is lightweight, almost like body armor for a team. So they can go behind this shield and clear buildings and do things that they haven't been able to do before, and do it more quickly. And so thanks to your support, we were able to do that. Last year, we asked you to help us purchase these volcanic bikes. Those are bikes that are purchased or constructed here in the Northwest, especially for police officers. We purchased 3 of those. We have 6 more on order, thanks to your support. These are made for these guys to ride in the downtown area, up and down curbs, downstairs, and then switch to going off-road in the parks and in all kinds of terrain. And so these are really cool, ruggedized bikes that really will hold up better than the commercial bikes that we were using before. And so thanks to you, we were able to purchase those, and they give us access to inaccessible areas. Speaking of inaccessible areas, you also helped us purchase the Mule. So the Mule is our 4-wheel drive ATV vehicle that lets us get into places, because when you go back into some of these areas in Minto Brown Park and some of these places, and you have to arrest somebody, it's really hard for a guy in handcuffs to ride a bike out of there. Next to impossible. So having this mule helps them get these guys out, and we've used it for a lot of different things. We've used it to transport people in, we've used it to transport people out, we've used it for rescues, we've used it for all kinds of things, and it looks really cool. And that's important. It is. You got to look good, right? So, also, we have found over the years, you all love dogs, and you've supported our canine program immensely over the years, and some of you have given over and over and over again. And so that has helped. So this year we purchased a canine, and we did training for three of our canine officers. You'll see a couple of the canines out there. They will pose for pictures. They like having their picture taken. Officers will help you take the picture with your own camera. We can get that. You can frame it, put it on Instagram. Sorry. The only thing we ask is we don't want pictures of you running from the dog. That causes problems. So, you also helped us. We've had a focus on our employee wellness and taking care of our folks, and so the foundation and you all have supported this last year for National Telecommunicators Week. We did an ice cream social for them and went in and on the graveyard shift and fed them ice cream. There's nothing like ice cream at like 11 o'clock at night, you know. Ice cream heals a lot of anxiety when you're able to do that, and so that was a great thing. We also were able to send our downtown officers with the Gladiators, which is our program with our at-risk kids. So we were able to pay for them to go to summer camp. The officers accompanied them with matching T-shirts and again looking cool. Then came Halloween. Any of you had trick-or-treaters? Any of you had 1,500 trick-or-treaters? We had 1,500 Halloween trick-or-treaters at Halloween dress rehearsal. And buying candy for 1,500 trick-or-treaters is a challenge. And the foundation stepped up and supplied the candy for that and made a whole bunch of kids safer and happier for that Halloween dress rehearsal. This year, you also allowed us to supplement our very first ask that we asked for in the first year. We asked for personal trauma kits for each officer to carry on their person. This came out of an incident where one of our officers was shot while handling a call down in Benton County on a stolen car, where Benton County Sergeant was shot as well as one of our officers. And the personal trauma kit saved the life of the Benton County Sergeant. And so you supplied personal trauma kits for each and every officer to carry with them. We were able to supplement those trauma kits this year, so each officer now carries 2 tourniquets on their person, as well as trauma shears and an elastic seal for chest injury. Now, fortunately, we have not had to use those except for one situation on an officer, but we have used those on many people in the community, and every time they have been essential in saving lives. And so without that equipment, we would be at a loss of some of the folks in our community today. So thank you for supplying those for us and for making sure that our officers had them when they need them, because that is a big deal for us, of keeping our officers safe and making sure that they can get the help that they need. Now, we can't rest on our accomplishments, so last year we presented to you and asked for the TI training simulator, which, as Cindy mentioned, is over here, so you'll be able to try it out. We will put this in the new building. We believe in training. We train and then train some more. If you think back to the last time when you were surprised by something or you froze and you couldn't react, what was the situation? The situation was something you had never faced before, you'd never thought about, you never thought about how to handle it. With these training simulators and with our training scenarios, we try and put our officers in as many scenarios as they might face out in the street as we can, so that when they face that scenario, their brain doesn't freeze and say, I don't know what to do. Their brain says, I've seen this before, or I've seen something similar to this, and I know how to react. That's what this training simulator does, is it prepares our officers to react quickly to any scenario that they might have. And that's what this training simulator will do. So let's take a look at the TI training simulator.
Get down on the ground.
Good morning. I'm Paul Demunis, and I want to thank the board, the foundation, particularly my son Pete. I think he had something to do with saying I needed to get up at 6:30 in the morning and get here. No, it's a great honor. And Pete, thank you. Somebody might want to take a picture of Pete and I before we leave, because I don't wear a tie very much since I retired 7 years ago. We have the same tie on. So But I do want to really thank the Board Foundation for giving me the opportunity to introduce Chief Moore. His 5 decades of outstanding service to our community is just remarkable. And you have to ask yourself, how lucky are we to have a lifelong Salem resident serving as our Chief of Police. Jerry's a graduate of McNary High School, Western Oregon, and the FBI National Academy. And I was thinking about this when I was trying to put my words together. I thought, you know, at this time in our society, the younger generations change jobs every few years. Think about Jerry. He joined the Dallas Police Department in 1977, but he moved to the Salem Police Department in 79, and he's been there ever since. 41 years. And it should go without saying, but the kind of person we need as a chief, and everybody should be so lucky, is to have a chief who worked his way up through all the ranks to become our chief. I think this is the most important thing that I wanted to add to this morning. So not only does Jerry manage the day-to-day operations of the department, but I encounter him repeatedly in the community, serving on boards, serving on projects that touch literally every aspect of our community. And this is the way I would describe it. His work touches every aspect of our community, from the protection and well-being of the most vulnerable children in our community to the building of a state-of-the-art law enforcement facility. I've had the privilege of working with Chief Moore for almost 4 decades. I can say, and I think everyone in this room knows, he represents the best in law enforcement. And I think this will resonate with many of you there. Jerry sees his job as a problem solver. He sees law enforcement in the broader context as playing an integral role in community problem solving. He's the kind of leader we want because his character and his integrity is impeccable, and his leadership style provides a model for all the young officers in his department to emulate. So Jerry, personally from me and from the community, I want to thank you for your inspired leadership and your tireless dedication to the protection and the betterment of our community. Thank you.
Well, thank you. He introduced himself as Paul Demunis, but I'm sure many of you know that he is the retired Chief Justice of the state of Oregon. So what an honor it is for me to be introduced by you, Chief Justice. Thank you so much. And to all of you here today, thank you. Thank you for being here and the wonderful welcome and spending time with us today. As we've been discussing, this is a yearly event that has become a really great tradition where our officers and our community get to mingle and get to talk and get to know each other. And people get to see our officers up close, and not just as a person in a blue uniform, but as a real person. And I think that's great. And quite honestly, it's a breath of fresh air for our officers as well, as they get to see a community that comes out to support them in so many different ways. So thank you for that. I want to give my heartfelt thanks to the Police Foundation and all the board members both now and in the past, because there are many people that weren't recognized earlier today who were instrumental in creating this foundation and making today possible. Deputy Chief Belshaw spoke about our first event, and for me to even think that we could fill a room at the conference center with our friends is just beyond me, and so for that I want to thank everybody that had something to do with this, and you all know who you are. I could not have asked for a better group of people to work with, and I truly mean that. Well, I guess it's been noted several times today and on numerous occasions that I've been doing this for a long time. I do like to call myself experienced, by the way, rather than that other word that many people could use for that. And the truth is, this is in fact my 43rd year. But I'm gonna give you a little information that I don't normally talk about, and that is that law enforcement wasn't actually my first career choice. You see, my plan was to be a professional basketball player. Now, I know every kid has that same dream, and you laugh about that, but I knew I was probably going to be different. I had a nice high school and college career, and but when that was over, I had to make a decision, and I kind of took stock of where I was at, and I realized I was missing a few things I needed for that real dream of mine. And in no particular order, that was about 11 inches in height, 125 pounds, quick and agile feet and hands, and natural athletic ability. So at that point, I made a decision, and I realized I should probably look for another career, and I did that. And I landed in a career path that I loved, and that would be in law enforcement. But anyone that knows me, that knows over the years that my urge for that competition, that athletic competition, never waned. So I had a couple sons, both were pretty good at athletics, so I became a coach. Every level of Little League, and of course, my true love, which was basketball. Now, my friends and I and my other coaches, we put together some pretty good teams over the years. We were middle school city champs one year, and we put together some teams that traveled all over this state, won all sorts of tournaments, and had a really great time. And those teams were marked by a couple things that I really want to point out to you today, which made them successful. Good kids who worked hard, who understood teamwork and camaraderie, who prepared hard and practiced like it really meant something to them, pride in what they did, and the drive to be the best they could be. Now, I won't speak for all of you, but I know there are some of you in here that are saying, has the chief lost it? I thought we were going to talk about police work here today, and he's talking about basketball and kids. But I'll tell you the reason I'm saying that and telling you that is, for the last 40 years at the Salem Police Department, I've been part of a team just like those I used to coach. Good people who work hard, who understand teamwork and looking out for each other, who prepare and practice their skills like their lives depend on it, pride in what they do, and the drive to be the best they can be. And I'll tell you that one thing that this current team that I'm on has that the other one didn't have is the opportunity and determination to do their job in a way that'll make a whole city proud of them. And that's exactly what they do. We've talked about the video depicting the training tool that the foundation is hoping to purchase for us. And what that highlights for me is what has been mentioned by a few people earlier today, and that is the need for ongoing professional training that prepares our people for a job that most people really don't want to do. Training that prepares them to go places other people don't want to go, and training that gives them the courage to run towards problems while everybody in the world is running away. And as I will point out in a couple minutes, that training is provided by some of our own folks and within this department, and it is second to none. And that's one of the biggest reasons I believe that this community holds us in the esteem that they do. So as I think Deputy Chief Belshaw mentions, as with any training tool, you got to have a place to put it. And this doesn't look very big here right now, but when you put the other 5 screens together with it, we currently don't have any place to put that. But it's also been mentioned in about 7 months, we're going to have the perfect place to put it. And that's our new police facility about 8 blocks from here that will be completed in September and ready for tours and for you to see it in October and move in November, hopefully. I will tell you, I think this whole community has watched that building rise from the ground, and some of us have watched it quite impatiently, I might add. But it's been a wonderful thing, and this community is going to love what they have when it's done. You know, I've told you before that law enforcement in this world has changed over the years, and that is certainly true. Now, some of basic policing is certainly still the same, but and that will probably never change. But there is notably a lot of issues, social issues that we now deal with. Some that come to the forefront, of course, are mental health issues and homelessness. The high expectations that a community has of its police department, which is great, and limited resources to do their job. And of course, as I've said before, there will always be the fact that somewhere in this country there will be people watching for that one police video that shines a poor light on police, while tens of thousands of other videos exist that you don't see that show police officers doing everything right. I'm a little biased when I tell you this, but it's my belief you are sitting among one of the finest police departments there is. The culture and the philosophy of this police department, and that is taking care of everyone the way we would like our own family to be taken care of, is something that we really practice. Our values of honor, integrity, service, and compassion were forged by members of our own organization as values that they wanted to highlight, and I truly believe that's what they stand for. You know, I've talked about our training and the receive and how important it is. Being prepared for what we will face each and every single day is a mindset that our incredible trainers provide to us. And just so there's no mistake about what I'm talking about, most of those trainers and almost exclusively reside in our own police department, and many of them are sitting amongst you today. Several of you in this room have experienced something like the training simulator that we are having, that we're showing today at our training academy, our Citizens Academy, and our ConSims. I know Dave Withnell speaks very fondly of that, and if you want to know about that, talk to him afterwards. For those of you that haven't figured it out, though, it is a simulator that allows our officers to be put in a situation where they can feel and sense and understand the intensity of what their job is all about. And it provides real-life scenarios of what perhaps our officers or other officers in this country have faced in the past. And as Deputy Chief Belshaw said, it's best when they've seen it before it happens to them on the street. And I will tell you, when it's over, regardless of how we do, we don't laugh or joke about it. Our trainers critique us and talk about it and make sure that we understand the right way to do that business, and that is critically important. I think the mayor mentioned it, but I'm pleased to say you don't often hear about our police department in a negative light. Excessive force, incidents that go bad, improper behavior are often the failure of training. And that's why I talk about training and why we treat it so important and understand how it can be so important to a community. I'd like to give you a couple words to remind you of what I'm talking about with our training. Michelle Pratt. For those of you who don't recognize that name, Michelle is an officer who made a simple traffic stop about a year ago that turned into a life and death situation in a matter of seconds when the driver of the car opened fire on her. So what saved Michelle that day? Clearly the ballistic vest that she was wearing that stopped around that hit her square in the back. That had something to do with it. But more important, her ability to recognize and sense and feel that something wasn't right, and to do whatever she had to do to get out of that hole and make sure she was safe. And you know what she did when she got out of there and was away from the threat? After being shot 4 times, she calmly got on her radio, told the responding officers what had happened, what the suspect, what direction he was going, what he looked like, and what had just happened to her on the radio, while at the same time self-applying a tourniquet to her leg. You want to talk about training and putting it to practice, it may not get any better than that. And we are so pleased that Michelle is with us here today. Michelle, can you stand up for just a moment? Thank you, Michelle. I've talked to so many of our officers after deadly force encounters, and they've always said the same thing to me. Chief, it was just like training. Let me tell you, that's music to my ears, and I don't think I could hear anything better than that. And it goes to prove what an incredibly terrific job our trainers do for us. You know, several years ago, there was a public survey conducted by the city. That survey indicated an approval rating of almost 90%, I believe it was, for our police and fire public servants. Now, I'm going to tell you, you don't hear numbers like that in very many communities, and it's something we should all be very proud of. But there's got to be a reason for that, and I think I'm going to tell you what that is. First of all, it starts with hiring the right people, providing them expectations and a philosophy of what policing should be, then repeating that over and over again until it becomes a part of all of us. It includes the training we've been talking about and a commitment to train like your life depended on it, because sometimes it just will. It includes equipment that is designed to keep them safe and let them do their job effectively. It includes a personal buy-in of department expectations, peer pressure when someone doesn't meet those expectations, and holding each other accountable for doing the things right. And it includes wellness and taking care of our people who really are doing an incredibly tough job, keeping them physically and mentally healthy, understanding and recognizing when they need help, and making sure that we give that to them. So one thing we've learned, when our people are healthy and good to do their job, they are in a much better position to take care of you, and that's what we strive for. And most important, it means sending people home at the end of their shifts or at the end of their careers, happy, healthy, and proud of the job they've done. So speaking about careers, I'm sure many of you know this is probably the last time I will address you here at this event as your chief of police. It's no secret that I'm going to be retiring at the end of the year, but I will tell you now, I could not have asked for a better career than I've had here. Working the streets of Salem, responding to the needs of this community, and keeping people safe became a purpose for me, and to have that opportunity is something I will forever cherish. Thank you again for being here today and supporting us the way you do, and supporting the men and women of this police department, because that is really what this is all about. As I've said many times, it means the world to me and our officers. And I hope when I'm finished here today, you will have the opportunity to certainly recognize all of those officers that are here today, because I know it would mean the world to them. We are your police department, and we couldn't ask for anything better than to take care of you and keep you safe. Thank you for that opportunity, and thank you all for being my friends.
Compassionate.
Brave.
Well-trained.
Professional.
Honest.
Caring.
Kind.
Real people.
And respectful.
There's just nothing like Salem PD.
Growing up in South Salem, our house was broken into 10 or 12 times. You assumed people were gone, they still went in with their weapons drawn just to double check the entire house. They want to do everything in their power to keep us all safe. A whole lot of things out there that their budget cannot provide. And that is why it is so important, because all the things that we can do to add to their department adds to our city.
I think it's really important, if you're able to support the things you believe in. The Salem Police Foundation, of course, is something we both truly believe in. Being able to help the department with the things that's not in the budget, because the city budget is not an infinite amount of money for the department.
But a lot of the donations are not targeted to one thing. So the small donations go into a general fund, allows the department to purchase larger things.
I didn't really understand how donations worked. I think it's easy to have this picture that, it's some guy in a three-piece suit writing big checks that make things happen for nonprofits. And, as I got more involved, it's any dollar amount. If you can spare $5, that will still have a direct impact to the safety of our community. Anything helps doing what the Salem Police Foundation is doing. Every dollar is supporting a cause, supporting our officers.
I think there are many outward benefits to the community through donations, through the foundation, and it just provides the tools to help the officers do their job and to help keep us safe. And
one thing I learned early on is the police do not ask for stuff. You have to almost drag it out of them. How can we help? What do you need? And I think that's just a part of the culture that you don't really ask of the citizens. You're there to provide and help and protect.
Helps the city budget dollars to go toward other things like personnel, hiring officers, as opposed to some of these other things that we from the community can help provide.
These tools that we donate for in the community are going to make our community safer, have a direct impact.
We will always need donations, and because there is always things coming up new, or as the city grows, there's a need for more officers, which is more equipment.
It feels good to be able to give to the police department, to give them the things that they need to do their job, because they are just real people who are out there trying to do the best they can to keep our community safe, and this is one way to show them our appreciation.
Good morning. My name is Nancy B., and I don't know most of you, so a little bit about me. I'm your neighbor, mom on the soccer sideline, wife of an electrician, daughter of teachers, and a registered nurse for over 19 years. Currently, I have the best and most challenging job of my career as the manager of the Salem Hospital Emergency Department. And it is here that I'm proud to say I meet Salem police almost daily. It isn't the time I was speeding down commercial, and I apologize about that, and thank you for the warning. Emergency nursing and law enforcement are very similarly built. Our professions require constant awareness, a critical eye, knowledge in many areas, and exposure to some of the community's most awful moments, yet forever serving from a place of grace and understanding. Similar to our Salem Police Department, I tell the emergency department team that our job is to love and respect those we meet and serve while in our care. We don't get to know their full story, only the bits that get shared with us during the time we have with them. The standard of love is from the heart, of course, but it also involves truth in practice, thinking clearly, assessing the situation, and doing difficult things when necessary. Michael Novak is a modern-day philosopher, and he says, I quote, "Love is watchful, alert. It seeks to follow evidence. It craves real as lungs crave air, and it is to will the good of the other," end quote. It is through this compassionate lens where we reach to consistent excellence that we have the most power to lift our community and each other. Now, as beautiful as this may sound, there's no kumbaya. I'm not some idealistic harmony leader, and it doesn't always work. You can love people, and they will still bring bombs into your emergency department. And that happened January 5th, 2019, 1 a.m. At the time, there were 78 patients in our department. They ranged from a variety of illness and injury. 2 were fighting for their lives. 1 had chapped lips. To say the least, we were busy. Our 79th patient that entered was a 50-ish-year-old male. He lightly smelled of alcohol, and he walked in an unsteady manner. As he stumbled his way up to the check-in counter, we took notice. His voice was muffled but authoritative as he told us he was having trouble breathing. And we immediately offered him a wheelchair and took him back to our last room in the department. Our newest patient's assigned nurse was Jim Fenstermacher. And Jim saw the chief complaint come through our system and immediately went to the room, would be our standard. As he entered the exam room, it is 1:02 a.m. And he was expecting to support a patient in distress and showing signs of illness. And he was quickly followed by other department members of the team and respiratory therapy. As the team attempted to remove the patient's clothing and look at him more closely, listen to his lungs, they noticed he was holding a suspicious device and he wouldn't let it go. The device was cylindrical in shape. It appeared to have metal coverings at either end, and there was a wire coming from it. Talking slowly and clearly to the patient, the staff attempted to remove the patient's coat, and at that moment, he quickly moved and hid it in his lap. The motion allowed the staff to see that the wire was attached to a counter, a watch of sorts, and the illuminated time was frozen. What happened next was fast and without pause. 1:03 a.m., the staff notified the security department of the man in his suspicious device. 1:04 a.m., the security department enters the room and has notified Salem Police. As the emergency department staff tried to talk to the patient to understand his breathing concerns, our security officer approached in a clear, calm tone and asked for the device. The team worked together to redirect, distract, and we got it from him, placing it on the counter. But the timing clock was still with him. 1:05 a.m. The nervous silence was broken when the patient started hitting the button and yelling, "My guts are about to be all over this place." 1:06 a.m. The bomb out of the patient's possession, but still in the emergency department, the nursing and respiratory staff continued to care for the man's breathing while making deliberate plans to get us safe. The team distanced the man from his own bomb, removing him from the room where the bomb remained. Security proceeded to remove many more weapons for him while the nursing staff continued to question him about his health. With each volatile breath, the patient continued to threaten the lives of the ED staff, and especially Jim. He repeatedly yelled, "You have 10 minutes to get everyone out of here," as he pounded the device still in his hands. Jim calmly spoke to the patient, told him about the care he was providing, like he would anybody else in his care, and he never left his side. Forever ticked on. 1:07 a.m. Under the direction of Kim Flora, the charge nurse in the emergency department this night, staff relocated the patients and themselves from the immediate area surrounding the man and his bomb. The patients now lined exterior hallways to the farthest outreaches of the department. But you could still hear him yell, "You have 2 minutes left." Staff would walk up to Jim, and they would ask him if he needed anything, and he would calmly reply, "No, keep your distance, please be safe." And he stayed with the man as his eyes were on the door, waiting for the cavalry. Minutes were eternity. 1:09 a.m. Relief flooded everyone when the experts to this level of violence and threat arrived in uniform, layered in extreme skill. The first Salem police officer happened to be Officer Michelle Pratt. By 1:12 a.m., our patient was under arrest, but the threat of the bomb was still very much on everyone's mind. Salem police has the knowledge of these types of weapons and immediately prepared an evacuation plan. The plan included the full radius of the possible explosion, and the teams worked in unison to protect all involved, setting a perimeter. This included the up and down, not just the left and right we had thought of. 1:15 a.m. Above where the bomb set in the emergency department is an operating room. And in that operating room this morning was a team working hours into a life-saving open chest surgery. As their patient clung to life, the surgical team was notified of the threat beneath them, and they must move. Working safely and efficiently, the surgeon and her team arrived to a safe moment in the procedure and moved with all their skill to the opposite end of the operating room suites, further from harm's way, where they continued and successfully saved their life. The 2 minutes that the patient told us we had passed and no explosion had occurred, but there was still a threat sitting on the counter and dangerously close to everyone. 1:30 a.m. The Salem Police Bomb Squad arrived. The team of 4 officers quickly went to work suiting up Detective Kurt Abel in his ET-esque bomb suit. The team's countless hours of training were now to be put to test. Detective Abel entered the room to take an X-ray of the device. This X-ray would help them to see what was inside and plot a plan to help best deal with the threat. But after seeing the location and gauging the potential harm that could be caused if they did move quickly, they did not have time for an X-ray. They didn't even attempt to use their robots. Abel was going to carry the bomb out of the ER. This level of risk is only taken when the risk is higher to others. And he would expertly assume this risk, but first we had to clear the path. 1:43 a.m. The hallway is clear, patients' doors and curtains are closed, and staff are sheltering in place to ensure a barrier between them and the route Abel will walk. 1:45 a.m. Abel begins his transport, 180 feet from the counter to the secured bomb containment trailer in our driveway. 1:47 a.m. The bomb is safely placed inside the secure bomb containment trailer. The containment trailer protects everyone if the bomb were to detonate. And with the bomb secure, Salem Police can now conduct and finish their full investigation of our department. 2:38 a.m. Our heroes have left with their explosive device intact in the containment vehicle to determine what it was made of. We find out there's no explosives found in the pipe device, and our immense luck that sustained us as the bomber forgot that part of his recipe. What was not luck was the response of the teams at both Salem Police and Salem Hospital. Luck doesn't allow for the extreme weight of calm and togetherness the team showed. Luck doesn't get credit for the compassion shown to a man literally threatening every human within 50 feet of him. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not luck, it's skill, and always coming from a place of concern and a heart to better the community and world we live in. The hallmark of police science and emergency medicine is to expect the unexpected. We must be prepared for what is most likely, but always looking for what could be. We run different scenarios in our head over and over and over again, leaning in early and quickly when necessary, and ducking out to safety when the situation demands, all while remaining calm and confident. It is not for the faintest of hearts, but for the biggest of hearts. Heroes in mythology have superhuman qualities, and I tell you, the level of skill used to remain calm, keep patients safe, staff safe, and respond with extreme organization with superhuman police this day. And we are thankful every day. So I'm here, your nurse, your friend, your neighbor, table mate, to ask for your support. In emergency medicine, we don't ask for co-pays up front. We see you, treat you, tell you you're important, appreciate you, and send you the bill. The bill's on your table. The support you give today creates and grows heroes who run into danger, not from it. They love our community and they are called to serve. Their dedication to training saved many January 2019, many since, and many more in the future. Your donations today go directly to the Salem Police Foundation's current priority project, the training simulator, that is easily accessible in their new building and offers our men and women in uniform the opportunity to be virtually placed in actual parks, buildings, and emergency departments with realistic scenarios that hone skills and increase responses. Thank you for loving those who keep us safe. Thank you, Salem Police, for being reliably consistent in seeking excellence through training to allow my family, friends, and team to live in a great community. And thank you for your donations.
Wow. I don't know about you, but my heart's still pounding. Nancy, thank you for sharing that heroic story with us today. And to our emergency room staff and our security detail that were there that night, to the law enforcement officers that responded, and to those that are out there working right now, thank you for keeping us safe and healthy. All the days before that day, especially that day, and every day since that day. Nancy, thank you very much. As Nancy said, your bill envelope is on the table. So please distribute your donation envelopes that are on the table, and as you complete them today, put them in the large manila envelope at the center of your table. While you are doing that, I'd like to once again thank our sponsors who help and partner with the Salem Police Foundation annually to bring you this amazing event, Breakfast with the Chief. Everyone, please mark your calendars. We have already booked the conference center for next year. This breakfast will be February 18th, 2021. Again, as Deputy Chief Belshaw mentioned, we have our command vehicle downstairs right outside. If you have not had the opportunity to walk through this amazing vehicle and see the tool that the foundation and you, our generous donors, have provided for the police department to use, please take a look. It's amazing. Finally, I'd like you all to please check us out on Facebook, Salem Police Foundation, and follow us on our website at salempolicefoundation.org. This board, 2 years ago when we came to the conference center, we said we had to go big or go home. You can see today we decided to go big. And we have got some amazing efforts planned for the next couple years and some events, and we would like you all to join us. Thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you to Chief Moore for his years of dedicated service. Thank you to all of the police officers and the folks at Salem Health that provide amazing care to our community. Today is a great day to have a great day. So let's go out there and make it great. Thank you.